Another day and another beautiful pump. Bitcoin is now trading up towards $40,000. We actually topped out, $44,000. We actually topped out at 44K. And now I want to talk to you guys about the prospect of Bitcoin continuing to rise up, because we've still got a very, very good situation in the market. You see, Bitcoin has consolidated and then continued to blow up with that extremely typical pattern that we've been discussing as a core principle of this YouTube channel, where you trade up to fulfill the trend. You pause doing whatever. You could trade downwards, you could even trade upwards like we did over here, and in this case we did just trade sideways. I'm sorry, actually it was all the way over here. It was actually a big range, but then no matter what, we do typically end up continuing higher. And the really good news is that Bitcoin has broken so much of its resistance now that it's actually in a really strong position. And guys, today's a really special day for your boy out here, because if we head on over to my profile, you can actually see that this was my first over 1,000% profit trade. So guys, thank you all so much for the phenomenal support on this YouTube channel. Those of you that have been watching this channel since the beginning of this year are gonna know that I was calling for a 30K Bitcoin and possibly even a 40K Bitcoin back when we were down in the pits of $17,000 BTC territory. And I put my money where my mouth is, as always, and this has turned into the biggest single percentage profit of my life, which I am super, super pumped about. If we take a look at this post that I put inside of Four Flies Gold, happy December, ladies and gentlemen. This is the video you're watching, and I wanted to give a shout out to those of you that watched yesterday's video. Those of you that are subscribed and smashing up those likes, you're going to know that I actually mentioned a huge opportunity, kind of starting to open up in the altcoin market, and you can see how that's looking here. So here's that Bitcoin trade sitting pretty at about 120K profit, a little bit more now at the time of Bitcoin's price at the moment. Here's a new trade that I entered that VIPs were informed about hours before, hours before I actually entered it, and this trade is now sitting at about 50% profit. So that is very, very cool. Let's just take a look at that. Yeah, a little bit less than 50%, probably about 45. And of course, I've got that TRX position continuing to make me money in the background with a nice and easy 330% profit. So absolutely loving it, ladies and gents. Shout out to those of you that have taken advantage of the huge links in the description, giving you up to 30K in free trading capital when you start trading using my Bybit link down below, and these other two alternative no KYC exchanges that I've been working with that are both offering you insane bonuses. BingX offering you over 130K in bonuses, and CoinW, you don't even need to deposit or start trading. All you've got to do is open a futures account using my link, and you're going to get $50 just like that. There we go, just like that, for free to trade with. So check them all out. Well, let's talk about the markets here. We have seen phenomenal price action. Like I said, we did pause and then continued on higher. And this begs the question, where is the next resistance on Bitcoin's chart? And I mean, we haven't been at these levels for a very, very long time. And actually, this move does remind me of the kind of failed rally over here. The reason I'm pointing that out is, now if we do take a nice zoomed out look at the chart, I actually posted a tweet about this. The crash is going to be face melting. Now, obviously, this doesn't mean that we need to have a crash, but if we do, I am expecting the crash to be insane, because Bitcoin has just been performing in insane ways recently. I mean, we have just rocketed up to astronomical levels. We've done it very quickly. We've done it without a pullback, by the way, but this is all what we expected. And the reason that we were expecting this to happen is that, the market is going to punish us, right? But sometimes the market doesn't punish us after the move happens. Sometimes the market actually punishes us before the move happens. And that's actually what happened over here. So we endured an incredibly long-term punishment over here, where we dropped down by 76%, which lasted over a year. But then we also traded sideways within a relatively narrow price range for an entire 7-month period. That's why I was telling you guys that if we get that breakout above 30K, things could be ridiculously explosive, and we've now broken all of Bitcoin's most significant areas of resistance. Smash up the fucking likes, ladies and gents, if you are as pumped up as I am. I'm also pumped up for the potential drops that could be coming, because the market is in euphoria mode. Let's go ahead and take a look at the Four Flies dashboard, which has updated since yesterday's video, but we're probably going to be seeing even crazier readings. 75 rating on the fear and greed. It's going to be definitely, I think, a fair bit higher. Binance retail traders continuing to try to lose money. For as long as they are majority short, we are making money. That is absolutely fantastic. Top traders have known the direction of this market the entire year. And Bybit traders always, like I said, a little bit in the middle. So we'll come back to all of this stuff in just a second. But let's talk about where those next areas of resistance are where Bitcoin could start facing some troubles. And what I want to do is really just kind of zoom into this range and start identifying, where have these key, reversal zones been, right? So we can take a look at this. This is definitely all here. This is all clearly a reversal zone for Bitcoin. And if we actually go ahead and stretch this out all the way back to 2021, I think that this entire purple box represents some key problems for Bitcoin, and that's going to be our next kind of areas of resistance. And if we just go ahead and drop two lines right there, and let's actually make these normal in thickness, this is probably going to be outlining where our next areas of resistance could line up. And that does put us between 44.4 up to 45.3. So that's something I'm going to be keeping an eye out for as we continue to trade in this range. We've gotten very close, and we've already started to encounter some problems up here, and that is no surprise, right? I mean, when you break an area of resistance, naturally you're going to rise up to the next one. Obviously, we didn't really stop here for long on the daily time frame. It really didn't last long, but you can clearly see how we did stop moving up at this area of resistance. But now that we've cleared it, it is pretty much a straight path up to the next one. And that's the beautiful thing. Those of you that have been watching me on this channel for some time now are going to know that one of the key ideas I've been putting forward to you guys is that when we're in these kind of market setups, typically it's almost like the air in the atmosphere gets thinner, right? I mean, if you think about it with rockets or airplanes, you're going to use the most fuel at takeoff because the atmosphere is thick, so you've got to really push quite hard to get off the ground. As soon as you're up above the clouds, deep in the sky or whatever you want to call it, it just gets easier to move forward. It gets you move up faster, you move up using less energy, and it's the same thing with Bitcoin here. So we're in a really, really good place from this perspective. Another thing that I was talking to you guys about was the altcoin market, or if we look at Bitcoin's dominance, it is just shot up. I mean, this is the highest level that Bitcoin's dominance has been, not since just yesterday, not even since these highs that we set at the end of October. This is the highest Bitcoin dominance reading that we've seen since April 2021. That is a ridiculously long time ago. I'm actually curious, what was this in years? 968 divided by 365. That is 2.6 years that we have not been up at these heights for Bitcoin's dominance, but that only spells opportunities. You guys know that I'm not positioned in altcoins as a rule, but I'll make money off them if I see the opportunities, and that's exactly what I've done using Bybit with these two beautiful trades here. This one trade that I just opened today, like I said, sitting at about 45% profit now. VIPs have been kept up to date at every step of the way here, which is absolutely fantastic. Shout out to those of you that are inside of that group. We're cleaning it up right now, and so I don't care. I'm not interested in getting attached to them, but where there's money to be made, I like to make the money. And I think that now that we've seen Bitcoin's dominance rise up really high, we're at an interesting point. I mean, this is clearly an area of resistance that Bitcoin's dominance has been able to break. So, it could definitely go quite high from here. But at the same time, when this kind of thing happens, it's got a long way to fall, and it can definitely fall down to some really nice levels and then potentially even rise up from there. So, I think that we definitely could be in a place where altcoins could start making some money. I'm going to continue to reserve my thoughts for that, mostly for VIP. But like I said, I am in that link trade. Again, we'll talk about that in a little bit. I want to stay focused on Bitcoin for now because this is that key area to be watching out for. And we really are approaching massive risk here. I mean, we're probably going to chop massively up and down in these ranges. There's going to be a lot of trouble, and it's absolutely critical to choose the right entries at this kind of stage in the market. We have been, for lack of a better word, docile in this market, we as in the general crypto space, for an incredibly long period of time now. There just hasn't been a lot that we can do. And so, it's almost like we've been caged up for a really long time, and now the gates have just been let open and there's a shitload of stuff going on outside, and it's just very easy to get carried away and distracted. You mustn't get distracted, ladies and gents. That is going to put you in a very, very uncomfortable position. This is where we still have to compose ourselves, breathe, meditate, sleep, whatever the hell it takes for you, to make sure that you're not running around like a headless chicken doing things that you shouldn't be doing. This is where mistakes tend to happen. And with all of the kind of whiplash price action that I think we could definitely start to expect now, this market has become very dangerous, especially at these heights. I think we're clearly due for a correction. I don't even think that we should have broken this resistance this quickly. But again, when the market is rallying, it's a train. And are you really going to jump in front of that train? You know what I mean? I mean, you just want to be positioned way before. Like I was telling you guys, I mean, these were some of the most obvious buy zones Bitcoin has ever printed in my experience trading. Obviously, I didn't need to take advantage of them because I was long since all the way down here. But that doesn't mean that these weren't absolutely great entries to take nonetheless, and definitely something that that we've been looking at in this market as well. Let me just take a quick look at where this Bitcoin trade is now. Yeah, 1,021% profit. Absolutely fantastic. Super happy with that. Insane. I'm actually hiding my excitement. But if we do, take a look at what else we're seeing here, now is an interesting time where we can start looking at some of our support areas to also get a sense of just how extended Bitcoin is. On a daily time frame perspective, our support is really far away. And this is a pretty aggressive metric for support with the EMA ribbon. Pretty far away. Definitely danger zone for Bitcoin right here. From a 4-hour perspective, still our support area is 6.4% below us, or actually more accurately, it is 6% below us, which definitely represents that we've gone quite far ahead of where the momentum would have wanted us to go right now, which could indicate that we're starting to get overextended here. So we need to be very, very careful. At the same time, let's take a look at this on the weekly time frame. We've seen from this candle up to today, we've seen, including the first candle, we've seen 8 weeks of continued upward price action. If we actually take Tone Vase's indicator, which is a time-based indicator, we might be able to start to see some really interesting things presenting themselves. We're only on a candle 4. Okay, so from this weekly perspective, we've got a lot more upside to go. Go check out Tone Vase's channel if you want to see his take on it. I don't know if he's actually making videos in this market right now, but I certainly hope he is. Shout out to Tone Vase, absolute legend. One of the guys that taught me how to trade back when I was 17 years old. I went to his workshop in Amsterdam, which was very, very cool. Blew my fucking mind, changed my life. Love the guy. So that's super cool. From a weekly time frame, it's pretty extended. If we look at this from a monthly time frame, yes, I know we're only at the beginning of December, but pretty big candle right here on the monthly. And again, not necessarily something that we don't expect. We had the problems that we expected at this 30K level, but as soon as we blew through that on these very large time frames, this is the kind of explosive price action that we have to start to expect in this market. Now, the really good news is that if we zoom in, we've got support levels below us. We didn't really use this level as resistance particularly well, so I don't know how well it's going to be as support, but it is a support level, and it's a really important one. Again, we already know the significance of this level. If we look back throughout the course of 21 and 22, there were a lot of key reversals that presented themselves right at this price level. So don't fade this level. This is a really important level in the market, ladies and gents. And if you do start to get kind of carried away, you're going to miss these really, really interesting levels. So if the price does end up falling down here, I think this could definitely be interesting for at least a bounce. It's going to be very risky because of all the volatility, but it's an area that I would be interested in looking at. I don't know. Risk profile is pretty high, but it's worth talking about anyway. And below that, we've got kind of fuzzy areas of support over here. We didn't really establish particularly clear levels because we just continued to trend up. But I think these were the two clearest levels that we have on the chart, this 35K level flat and then 37.6. Very, very important levels. Even 38K, 38.3, big resistance right here on the chart. You could definitely drop lines at each of these levels and be quite fair with your analysis, I think. So, at this stage from our high, this one's going to be about 13% down. This one's going to be about 20% down. And the mother of all support levels, 30K, would be absolutely fantastic to see. Really one of the best things that we could end up producing in the market. And this person actually commented on my tweet, are we going to get a crash towards 30K? And my response was that would be perfect. Maybe even a cheeky deviation, and then tagging Trader S said, who is a phenomenal trader. And the reason I'm saying that is because if we do end up falling down to 30K, this is actually going to start looking very scary. In fact, I would love to show you what that might start looking like so you can actually start to visualize what this market would potentially print by just extrapolating this drop and just showing you what this could end up looking like, right? Something perhaps a little bit like this. Not saying that this has to happen now, of course. This could happen, at significantly higher levels or whatever. That's not the point. But some sort of deviation like that, followed by some sort of, this would be beautiful if Bitcoin were to pull off something like this. This is probably a little bit too extreme for the analogy I've been trying to give you guys, right? I think something like this, my God, look at that. That just looks so pure in terms of how Bitcoin behaves. And that would put us, by the way, if we follow these kind of timeframes that are super objective, not scientific at all, that would put us just, right up into the halving where we're ready to continue to rally up. So, that is still a level which I think is really cool. Are we going to get it? I don't know. But the mania that Bitcoin is in, we're definitely, not in a super safe place for the upside to continue. But at the same time, we're going back to Twitter a lot, by the way. Check it out, linked down below. At the same time, another post that I actually want to highlight to you guys is right here. Will Clement, I'm not sure how you say his name, super good analyst on Twitter, actually pointing out that Bitcoin is at 43K, and this is what the Google Trends for Bitcoin look like. We're not actually seeing a move up. So I think that is actually a really big deal, and definitely something that indicates to us that while our space, our little bubble of crypto traders are getting quite excited, this hasn't quite reached externally yet. And that could definitely indicate, especially on the larger time frames, that there is a fair bit more upside to come. So keep an eye out for what people are saying, when everyone seems kind of piled in one direction, even though it might seem super realistic. That's typically where we start to enter some danger. Everybody was super bearish on altcoins today and yesterday. And of course, that's why I decided to trade the long side on Link as well. And this is the thing, is that these altcoins have now found themselves in really interesting positions. This was a very clear area of support for Link, represented by this purple box, which I'm going to make a little bit thicker so you can make it out a bit more clearly. And I extended this range down with this orange box as well, because, let's be generous, sometimes it could overextend just a little bit. And we've seen a really nice support bounce. Basically from my entry up to the high, it managed to rise up by about 6%. So I was sitting in a 60% profit just within a couple of hours on this Link trade here. I'm still up very, very nicely by something like 34% right now. It is pulling back a little bit right now, but I think that there are some really nice opportunities across the market still like this. And the thing about this Link position now is I have actually raised my stop loss up to break even. So this is a risk-free trade. I've already secured some profits. You can see that right here as well. Already secured some profits. Again, this is an outdated screenshot, but really, really happy with the performance of this trade. And I don't necessarily think we're done. In fact, I think that some of the coins that haven't quite moved up yet could start to look very, very interesting. TRX, certainly one of those potential options. There aren't a whole lot left that haven't moved up particularly well. Some have moved up astronomically, like Pepe, of course, but this is something I'm going to keep an eye out for and continue to update you guys on with this YouTube channel and, of course, the VIP group. So double check that you are subscribed so that you don't miss out on this phenomenal content. I am going to have to wrap this one up very soon, though, because I've got to go to something else. But if you guys have enjoyed this video, if you have found it useful, then do me a favor and smash up those likes. One of the last things I do want to discuss with you guys is that if Bitcoin just blows through this area of resistance as well, where could we be going? Well, the next area of resistance that I'm seeing on this chart, and naturally, when we break an area of resistance, we're probably only going to rise up to the next one. It's probably going to sit around here at about 48.5. This was the high that Bitcoin set with this crucial reversal. We had some consolidation, some reversal action here, some more reversals, and some beautiful reversals as well over here. So I think that this could be another really, really interesting place for Bitcoin to top out. And we're just going to keep coming back regularly to look at metrics like this and like this to see, where the sentiment and so on is in this market. So I'm open to the market rising higher. I'm very, very well aware of the risk of a pullback and how explosive and face melting that pullback could be. I'm going to be keeping you guys updated. Obviously, you've got the link to my free Telegram channel linked down below as well, where you get more analysis and trading insights from myself around the clock, completely free of charge. And of course, if you want to get yourself inside a VIP, then these are the steps to join as well. Check out the exchanges linked down below. You're getting over 190k in amazing bonuses, and please be mindful of the local regulations of your country. If your country has banned them, then don't use them. You're not allowed to. But if you are able to, then definitely check them out, because you are getting beautiful bonuses right here, just for, beginning to trade on these platforms using my link. So that is super, super cool. All right, guys, I'm going to see you all in the next one. I hope you've enjoyed this one, and I'm out. Cheers.